Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're really peeling back the layers on something significant happening in Florida education.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at the pretty big drop in K-12 enrollment over in Palm Beach County.
Right. That's been making some waves.
So our mission today, we're digging into the official stuff, the reports, the numbers.
All the district documents from the school district of Palm Beach County itself.
Exactly. And we want to give you the shortcut, really, to understanding this trend. How big is this loss?
What are they saying is causing it?
And critically, how is an A-rated district managing the fallout, the operational side of things?
And, if you're tracking education in Florida, this isn't just a Palm Beach story. That's what jumps out right away.
Okay.
This enrollment dip, it's part of a bigger pattern. It's hitting other large urban districts, too.
Like who?
Well, the district's own sources mention similar things happening right now down in Broward and Miami-Dade.
Okay. So it's regional.
It really points towards a regional, maybe even systemic shift, not just, one county's issue.
That context is definitely key.
Mm-hmm.
But still, the Palm Beach number itself is, it's startling.
It is.
District-run schools are down by about 5,500 students currently.
5,500. That's not trivial.
No, that's a lot of empty desks this year. It raises immediate questions, right?
Definitely.
Financial, operational.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's unpack the mechanics behind this drop.
Right. So when you look at the official explanations, what the district is saying, they basically point to a kind of trifecta of causes.
Trifecta.
Yeah, three main external forces they see driving down their numbers. And it paints a really clear picture, actually.
A picture of what?
Of how these big macro-level things, economics, state policy, are filtering down and affecting family decisions.
And these factors matter because, they show how modern schools are battling forces way outside the classroom walls.
Precisely. So, factor number one. Broader demographic shifts in the region. People moving, birth rates changing.
Usual suspects, maybe.
Kind of. Then number two, the expansion of the family empowerment scholarships, the FES program.
School choice. That's huge in Florida.
It's state policy, massively expanding options. And third, and I think this is the real economic engine behind a lot of the first point.
Let me guess. Cost of living.
You got it. The rapidly rising cost of living in Palm Beach County, it's pricing people out.
Let's pause on that connection for a second. Cost of living. It sounds abstract, but here it's acting like a real filter, isn't it?
Definitely.
If housing costs just shoot through the roof, it hits enrollment in, two main ways.
At least two. Yeah.
First, it probably pushes out families already there, maybe lower or middle income folks, right? They move somewhere cheaper.
Exactly. Out of a county, maybe out of state even.
And second, it stops new families, younger families with kids, from even moving into the area. It's a barrier.
Right. It suppresses the potential student pool, affects birth rates long term. It's the economic push behind the demographic shift.
Okay, so that's happening. And then you layer on the FES expansion.
Right. That adds policy pressure on top of the economic pressure. For anyone listening who isn't familiar, FES is basically portable public money. Meaning, if a family uses an FES voucher for, say, a private school or a charter school...
the money follows the student.
Precisely. That public funding leaves the traditional district school.
So the district gets squeezed from both sides.
It's a double whammy, really. They lose students because families just can't afford to live there anymore. And they lose students because even the families who can afford to stay now have this state-funded alternative. Doesn't matter how good the public school is.
Right. The state is essentially subsidizing the competition.
It totally changes the game.
Yeah.
The district isn't just competing on, how good their education is. They're competing against private options backed by state dollars.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just parents looking for a quote-unquote better school. It's also about accessing this financial tool that unlocks choices they couldn't afford before.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
So the district sees this complex battleground. How are they planning to respond? They mentioned a strategy.
They're definitely not sticking their heads in the sand. The sources say they're launching a really thorough, data-driven analysis.
To understand why this is happening so fast.
Exactly, and the goal is to figure out long-term strategies. How can they compete effectively? How can they hold on to students, against these powerful headwinds?
Because it's an existential threat, really.
They know it is. It's a major strategic challenge.
Okay, so when you see that number, 5,500 students leaving.
Yeah.
And the funding tied to them. The immediate question isn't just strategy. It's got to be payroll, right? Staffing.
Absolutely. How did they handle the immediate hit?
Yeah. What happened to the teachers, the staff?
Well, that's where looking back a bit helps. This 5,500 number, it sounds massive, and it is. But the district has actually weathered big drops before. It's not totally new territory, though the reasons might shift.
Okay, context.
Context. So just a couple years ago, 2021, 2022, they saw a much smaller dip. Only about 518 students, PK through 12.
Tiny in comparison.
Right. But then go back just a bit further to 2019-2020. The sources show a huge drop then.
How huge?
Over 7,300 students. 7,373 to be exact.
Whoa. Okay, so they have dealt with bigger single-year losses before.
They have. There's some institutional muscle memory there for managing serious declines. The current 5,500 drop is big, no question.
Yeah.
But it's not the record loss.
So let's talk nuts and bolts. How did they handle the staffing implications this time? Because that's always the painful part.
Right, and the district sources are quite detailed on how they managed it, seemingly without resorting to mass layoffs, which is key.
Okay.
They acted proactively. First, they put a hiring freeze in place.
Standard procedure, maybe.
Often, yeah. Then they used their regular annual process for adjusting positions as an internal shuffle.
To match teachers to where the students actually are.
Exactly. Matching staffing levels to the new lower enrollment numbers across different schools and areas.
But the headline part, no layoffs.
That's the crucial detail they emphasized. No personnel were laid off. They managed the needed staff reduction entirely through what HR folks call standard attrition.
Meaning people just leaving naturally.
Yeah. People retiring, taking jobs elsewhere.
Yeah.
They just didn't fill those now vacant positions rather than cutting existing employees.
That takes some serious juggling. Managing the budget hit without the PR, nightmare, and morale crash of layoffs.
It's a very tricky balancing act, and they were specific about the impact, too. They said 120 teachers total were reassigned because of these enrollment shifts.
120?
That number, 120, it kind of tells the story behind the scenes. That's 120 people who likely had to pack up their classrooms, move schools.
Maybe across the county? Different roles?
Potentially. Their jobs were saved, which is huge, but the disruption for them and the operational reshuffle for the schools, that was definitely real.
It shows the level of detailed management needed to absorb a 5,500 student drop somewhat smoothly.
Gracefully.
Yeah. Okay, so this sets up a really interesting contradiction, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, on one side, you've got thousands of students and their funding leaving the district.
Right, the decline.
But on the other side, you have a school system that, by the state's own measures, is performing incredibly well. Top tier, even.
Ah, the paradox, yes.
So the big question becomes, if the schools are so good, why are families still leaving?
That's exactly the puzzle the district, and frankly, districts like it, are grappling with. They use these quality metrics, these performance scores, as their main defense.
Their selling point.
Their selling point, their competitive edge. They're trying to prove year after year, hey, we really are your best choice. And the data they point to, it's genuinely impressive.
Like what? Give us the highlights.
Okay, so the Florida Department of Education designated them one of only 13 high-performing districts in the whole state.
Only 13.
Yeah. They kept their overall A rating as a district, which, for a district that big and complex, is a major accomplishment.
And didn't they have good school-level grades, too?
They did. 71%, nearly 3/4 of their schools got an A or a B rating from the state.
That's the highest share ever for them.
Highest share in their history, according to the sources, and the graduation rate.
Let me guess. Also high.
Highest ever, 95.9%.
96% graduation rate.
Practically, these aren't just good numbers. They signal a system that's delivering, top-level educational outcomes on paper.
So back to the paradox. A-rated, nearly 96% grad rate. Why are students leaving?
Well, the district's narrative, as we said, is that it's driven by these external things, the economy, the demographics.
Which seems true.
It is true. But the uncomfortable reality for them is that the quality of their education, however high, just isn't enough on its own anymore.
It can't overcome the pull of state-funded choice or the push of the housing market.
Apparently not, for thousands of families. It means districts have to be more than just good educators. They need to be savvy marketers, strategists.
They have to constantly sell that A rating against a subsidized private school voucher or, the fact that rent might be $500 cheaper one county over.
Exactly. It's a whole new competitive landscape.
And just to make things even more complicated operationally, even while the county overall is shrinking, they can't just shrink everything uniformly.
No, absolutely not. They have to manage pockets of growth at the same time.
Growth. Where?
That's the tightrope walk. While overall numbers are down, people are still moving into certain new, fast-growing communities. The sources give a specific example.
Okay.
The opening of a brand new school, Saddleview Elementary.
Why open a new school if enrollment is dropping overall?
Because it wasn't about overall numbers. It was built specifically to relieve overcrowding at another school, Binks Forest Elementary.
Localized pressure.
Exactly. And to serve explosive housing growth nearby, in a community called Arden, they actually expect Saddleview to be near capacity pretty soon.
So the district is simultaneously freezing positions or closing classrooms in some older areas,
Right.
while also spending big on building and staffing brand new schools in the booming suburbs.
It's a totally split-screen budget reality, managing shrinkage and expansion at the same time.
That sounds incredibly complex.
Yeah.
Their mandate is, like, manage decline while also being ready for hypergrowth in specific spots.
It is complex, and their core message has to stay consistent through all of it. We have exceptional schools, we're your best choice.
Especially when families have that FES voucher option sitting there.
Right. They have to keep making their case.
Okay, so let's recap the key takeaways for you listening. This Palm Beach County enrollment drop. It's not simple.
Not at all. It's like a
They've
perfect...
got state policy, the family empowerment scholarships,
Check.
boosting choice.
Check.
You've got huge economic pressure, the cost of living basically pushing families out. And you've got these broader regional demographic shifts, people moving where they can afford to live.
Right. And all this is happening even though the district itself is, on paper, performing at an elite level. A-rated, 95.9% graduation rate.
Which really forces us to ask, what drives a family's school choice today? Is it just about the school's quality?
Or is it more about economics, access, state incentives? It seems like the equation is changing.
The district frames this, understandably, as a challenge caused by those external factors. The economy, demographics.
Which leads to our final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah. What does it mean for the future, not just in Palm Beach, but maybe everywhere? What does it mean when the proven, measurable quality of a public school system, A-rated great graduation rates, isn't the deciding factor for so many families anymore?
That's the million-dollar question. If top ratings don't guarantee enrollment, what's next?
Districts might need to compete on something else entirely. Convenience. Hyper-specialized programs, things that directly counteract the economic squeeze or the appeal of vouchers.
It certainly suggests quality alone isn't enough in this environment. A major shift.
Absolutely. Well, the district has promised they'll keep monitoring this closely. They'll update the public.
And we'll be here to dive into those updates when they land.
Definitely. Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.